Utah is now second in the nation in toxic chemical releases, and there's one company that's responsible for more than 90% of the state's total output. Every year, the EPA puts together the Toxics Release Inventory, which is a database of toxic chemical releases and waste management. The most recent report is for 2023, which has Utah rising by 2 spots compared to the previous year. The only state on that list that Utah doesn't beat is Alaska. In 2023, Utah released 284 million pounds of chemicals that can damage the brain, nervous system, cause insomnia, and even cancer. The company on the hook for over 90% of those releases is Kennecott's Bingham Canyon Mine and Smelter. The mine is one of the largest open-pit copper mines in the world. It produces copper, tellurium, and in smaller quantities other precious metals like gold and silver. The mine also produces millions of pounds of arsenic, lead, selenium, and mercury, referred to as tailings. Many of these toxic minerals come to rest in massive tailing ponds. As water in those ponds evaporates, Kennecott gathers and disposes of the materials left behind. Kennecott confirmed that the spike in toxic chemical emissions is likely due to a change in the composition of the ore that the company mined in 2023, not an increase in production. Kennecott's parent company, Rio Tinto, says it's actively working on reducing the release of reportable chemicals. The EPA has noted metal mines typically don't have many opportunities to implement pollution prevention. Basically, it's not uncommon for a mining operation to produce more toxic chemical releases. Though chemicals are managed to reduce the release of environmental contamination, failures can happen. A tailings pond at the Kennecott smelter has sunk 20 feet or more, which is raising concerns that selenium is leaking into the Great Salt Lake. Selenium weakens eggs and deforms embryos. The mineral is a threat to the millions of migrating birds that visit the Great Salt Lake every year. It can also be toxic for humans. Last year, regulators detected elevated levels of selenium in migratory bird eggs collected near the Gilbert Bay. The EPA, meanwhile, has determined the area around Kennecott's pond is not protective of human health or the environment because of its rising selenium. The state agency that protects the lake's water, the Division of Water Quality, drafted a groundwater permit requiring Kennecott to determine if the pond is seeping and to study the pond's connectivity to the Great Salt Lake. Kennecott revised the permit to remove references to the tailing pond sinking, the requirement to analyze the pond's seepage, and the requirement to study its connection to the Great Salt Lake. The DWS approved the permit in December. Division Director John Mackey said it's common to let regulated companies weigh in on their permits. Friends of Great Salt Lake Executive Director Linda Freitas said it undermines confidence that the industry is being held accountable. In the absence of a state-directed study, Friends is funding its own study of possible groundwater contamination led by the U.S. Geological Survey. Kennecott denied settlement of its tailings pond posed an environmental concern. A spokesperson told the Salt Lake Tribune, "We stand by the safety of our tailings impoundment and affirm that it meets and in some cases exceeds the required standards."